What's up, y'all? DB, you are correct. That is an AI generated image. I don't really have a plan about what to talk about. Um, I think it's interesting all the speculation about how long they're deliberating and what it means. And oh, I heard something on the street. Man, you ain't heard shit. Like nobody knows what what the length of the deliberations really coincides with. I think that generally it's probably better that it's not just slammed out in a couple hours. That sounds typically bad. That's often just a guilty. Um, so, I mean, they're tasked with reviewing a lot of evidence and thinking about the situation. And my audio because I try to do this off of my phone. It doesn't work very well. It's also hard to chat in the YouTube comments. Or everybody gets a vote, and we'll just hash this thing out and just see if this guy's guilty or not guilty. Or if we can't agree, we'll just hang the jury. Not like actually hang, but I think it's going to be hard to get 12 people to join, though. Judge Jessica, Your Honor says, let's fucking go. I don't even know if we have enough people to just put a 1 in the chat for not guilty. If we get 12, we'll just call it a day. Well, we got 2. Oh, man, we got some. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a good start. 10, and I get a vote. 11. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with guilty, and so you're gonna have to convince me. Uh, Otherwise, we're just gonna have a hung jury. I mean, I think it's interesting. Like the I mean, if you get in a situation where there's just one person that's like the outlier, like that's got to be tough to actually stand your ground and not just go along with the other 11 people. I think the with a longer deliberations, and if it starts going really long, that's typically the situation they've got, that it's like you've got a fairly substantial split on 2 different sides. Like if you got 6 and 6 or 5 and 7, 4 and 8, like those can be really tough to negotiate a way out of it. I think the only thing that is kind of like you can kind of keep an eye on, like obviously we're just not going to hear anything until we hear something, and so if we hear there's a verdict, we probably know it's not going to be hung. I would expect that you're going to hear jury's got a question. And that question is, hey, what do we do if we can't decide? And then the judge will be like, well, you gotta go back and decide. Like that was literally the jury instructions. What about 5 and 7? What about 7 and 5? Yeah, I think those are all like essentially the same. I think that people are overthinking the the strategy of like, oh, just go home for the night and then do it in the morning, or like the time of day has something to do with it, or like, they want one more night away from their family. Like, get no, just like, dude, you're way overthinking this stuff. Like, I'm sure that they will, when they get to the point that they've got a decision or they think that they can't reach a decision, they will just move forward with that whenever that happens to be. I mean, I get there might be a little bit of logistics as far as like, oh, do you want to do it after lunch or like, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of like maneuvering of like, oh yeah, that they don't want to go home in the dark. That's like, come on, people, we can't be silly. Like we've already believed. Like there's so many things that have been brought up in this case. The people believing completely silly things that are just completely made up, completely fabricated. They ended up all not being true. None of those things made their way into the trial. Like they're just complete fanciful fantasies, and like we don't need to keep doing that. Like it's woman. I mean, we don't really know what their accommodations are. I don't know if we heard anything more about the people that were potentially following the jury. I'm going to guess that it's much more likely to be the typical bad actors than the not typical bad actors. Judge Jessica says maybe some of the jurors found love. I mean, I've seen the jurors at this point, and I'm not really trying to ship them, as Hammy might say. I think that I didn't see a lot of opportunities for connections there. I mean, people, whatever they, I guess you love who you love. So if they want to pair off, I guess they're welcome to. Royal Wee says someone tried to ship me once. Don't know what that means. Judge Jessica, any hotties on the jury? I would lean towards no. The mock jury is kind of a bust because we got to 12, a unanimous verdict pretty quickly there. So they should probably just let Rick go home. I do think that like if they had a quick decision, like that they were overwhelmingly like not guilty, they would try to expedite it because I think obviously in that scenario they'd have a lot of sympathy for what his conditions have been, and that they would want to get him out of those conditions as soon as possible. So I feel like there is at least some conflict here. Um, I don't know. It's a heavy burden to sit on a jury and decide something with this much gravity. I need a guest. Put the link in here again. People that are trying to like gauge the jury, like by looking at them, or what their backgrounds are. Like, I don't know. You can't see into somebody's head. But I think the jury questions do give you some insight. You can't always tell exactly where they're coming from, but I think sometimes they at least clue you in a bit. I think my general opinions on the questions is kind of like led me to think that there's like probably a couple not guilty people, probably a couple guilty people, and probably a couple people that are really undecided. And then I'm not sure what the rest of the mix of the jury is. But I think that there's at least evidence of a couple people kind of into three different camps. So I mean, I don't find it that surprising that there's gonna be some lengthy deliberation. I mean, this isn't super lengthy yet, but I mean it's a solid amount. Um, and if you have any like split, this is just the beginning. It's gonna be hard to resolve. Anybody with If you've got even a couple people on opposite sides, that they're going to need a lot to be convinced, I think, to move off their position. I think that it would be difficult to move off of a not guilty position. Monday says no DNA, no bullet, and no Elvis Fields. What's up, Cryptex? Who is Gray? I don't know. Cryptex, you want to jump up here? Judge Jessica says, "Oh, I was missing everybody on Top Chat. That's a rookie mistake, Your Honor. That's what we expect from Judge Gull. She always uses Top Chat." Judge Jessica says, "I thought I was just talking to myself." Well, we've all been there. What is up, Cryptex?
What's up, things? How are you, man?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Or I think I have an echo here. I'm just gonna close now. I think now it's okay. What's up?
Not too much. We're just chit chatting, like pulling the late shift here.
Cool, man. I was in Dan's show. I couldn't even talk. So I'm glad you invited me here, man.
Yeah, no problem.
How do you feel for the? Do you think it's gonna be a verdict tomorrow or not?
I kind of think no, but I mean, I don't know. It's just a random guess. I have no idea, like how long this thing is going to take,
Hmm.
or what the outcome is going to be. Like, I don't have a strong guess on it because I can't see into the jury's like brains and actually discern that. I mean, I can say what I think it should be, but I also haven't seen everything that they've seen.
Yeah, for sure. What's your feeling? Hung jury, guilty, not guilty?
I mean, I guess if I had to guess, I would probably lean more towards a hung jury. Um, but the Judge Gall will send them back, at least a couple times to try to resolve that. So sometimes it does change, after they're hung the first time, they do come back with a verdict, and that the judge is very influential in that kind of scenario. Um, like, can she convince them just to come back with a verdict?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Let's see. Looking forward for
But
the
I,
verdict.
I, I think I think that it's going to be hard for a couple people to move off their positions, and I think that the starting point is people on opposite sides. I mean, it's like we've all seen Delphi, like they've been involved in the Delphi case, and just like you can't get 12 people to agree on anything. Like everybody's gonna have different theories, and there's gonna be some people in here that like are kind of off in the weeds, and they're gonna be like, well, did that Brad Weber guy do it? Like,
Hmm.
there's gonna be somebody on that jury that's like, there's probably gonna be a couple people on that jury that are like, I think it was that guy. I think it was they're gonna be pointing fingers that at something like which, that's not their job, but it definitely informs them that like sure they have reasonable doubt. Like you, you can't say that you think somebody else did it and say that this guy
Yeah,
could also do it. Like no, that's the definition of reasonable doubt. I mean, I think there's going to be some people like that.
I agree. Now that you were talking about theories, do you have any theory here?
I always just have like a long list of theories, and I don't have like any. I've never had like a. I've never been convinced. Like I never think that like it's solved. I think that like there's a lot of plausible possibilities.
Hmm.
One that I didn't really think a whole lot about until the trial, though, was I guess I just didn't realize how simple the explanation was. But I think the Brad Weber thing is like pretty much the easiest explanation for it, which I hadn't really given as much consideration. Maybe just because it's not as that fun a theory. It's a very simple theory, but uh, I mean, we didn't get like lots more information in this trial. We only got a little bit more information, but the little bit of more information that we got, like, I mean, it doesn't point to necessarily like the stuff that's in the trial. I mean, not the stuff that didn't make it in the trial. But if you just look at what made it into trial, if you just look at what made it into trial, it's just kind of some basic little things. I think like the headphones being plugged in is like a huge thing for me. Like
Yeah, me too.
that kind of I mean, it tells you something. Like, if the state has a problem by not like leaving it open that could somehow point to Richard Allen. Like they should like the state is dumb. Like they should have. I don't know this guy. Hopefully, this guy's cool.
No, I agree with you. I don't understand how people are minimizing that discovery, let's say. Uh, to me, it's huge. I know that there are other potential explanations like moisture or water or whatever, but it's the responsibility of the state to investigate any potential possibility. And if one of those possibilities is that there was some device that was connected to the cell phone, we cannot minimize that. That can be huge. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. I mean, it is kind of straightforward. It is a headphone or an auxiliary jack that's plugged in like that. It just is that's what it is. But even if it was water or dirt or something else, like it's the timing that matters more because it happens at 5:45 and then unhappens at 10:23. Now, the easiest explanation is something was plugged in at 5:45 and then unplugged at 10:23. Like, what's your explanation for that if it's dirt or water? How does that happen? Like, something is happening. The
Yeah, I
fact that
agree.
the fact that anything is happening points to something going on during that period of time. Like, not nothing happening, which is what the state's like. No, it's just sitting there. Well, if it's just sitting there, how does dirt magically get in there and then magically leave? Or
Mm.
water? Like something happened.
Yeah, no, I agree. There are a lot of doors that are still open, and that's one of those doors for sure. 100%, man, with you in that point.
What's up, woman? And what's up, Reggie Adamson?
What's up, Fiend? How you doing?
You doing all right?
Hello,
So
guys.
that
Hey, did you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
you know there was an Amber Alert right at 5:44, right?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. For
Okay.
a girl who her
Right. So
and
so
Gary.
right. No, I know. I looked into her a little bit too. I think that it's a really weird story because down the road, like she ended up murdering her mother or something, and so
That's why she was being looked for.
see,
Just
I don't think that that's true though. I think the timing of that, I don't know. I'd
no,
have to go
I
back.
read that. I just looked at the article yesterday. Her mom was found dead, and they were worried that there was something wrong with her. She could be in danger.
Okay, so it was all the same event.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I thought that it was later that she ended up like after she was found that like years down the road she ended up doing that, but maybe that was just when she finally was convicted of it. Um so
Yeah, but what's
so
that?
that
What's that
that's
got to
it,
do with this situation, like with your Ella and stuff?
it's interesting with the Amber Alert because what one of the things Stacey Eldridge said was that seconds before um milliseconds before this audio output event happens that an incoming call was coming, and you almost wonder could it have been the Amber Alert because those just go straight to your phone and they're loud, and maybe that would make you want to silence it very quickly.
and would the headset jack silence it?
Hmm. Yeah, because it puts the audio to whatever you're connecting it to.
But don't you think that there was no real proof that it was an audio device?
I mean, I don't think there's a differentiation between whether it's a wired headphone or whether it's an auxiliary cable that you might like play music to your car. So I think those are really the two options. I mean, I think that like the state witnesses Cecil and Bunner like pretended that they didn't know this at all, but it's pretty straightforward. And Stacey Eldridge was like, "Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like it's got a code of one. That's what one is. So that's what it is."
Wasn't she paid by the defense?
Of course.
I just think the defense is kind of grasping at straws.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that it's not their report, right? It's the state's extraction. They've had the crazy thing is they've had this information for a long time, and they just completely ignored that there's something plugged in and something unplugged, like at these timestamps, and they're just like, we'll forget about that part.
Well, why would they do that though? Like, why would they forget about it? Like, it's maybe they just didn't think it was. Maybe they thought it was water damage.
Well, they didn't think it was water damage. They didn't think it until they went out into the hallway and Googled it. They didn't even have like water damage wasn't even a twinkle in their eye.
What's the issue with Google? People research stuff on Google all the time. I don't see why the defense has to cry and make that a big deal.
Well, was it a knowledgec.db thing that they Googled, or are they just Googling the help section for iPhone 6s? He couldn't say what he Googled. Like, well, there, OJ was like, "What web page? What website did you Google? Tell me." And like, you know, they're like, "This is hearsay. This is hearsay." And like, it obviously is. What I don't know what Judge Go was thinking, where she isn't like, "Yeah, that's obviously hearsay. Get the fuck out of here with that." You
Yeah, I
just
don't know.
you
I
just
guess
you
I
just
heard it a
read
different
this on
way.
Google. That's the definition of hearsay.
What is the definition of hearsay?
Well, if I just saw something on Google, or I just saw something on Reddit, that would all be hearsay. I just saw it. I just saw
okay.
it somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, he had the time to do it, like Rick Allen did. Richard Allen.
Oh my god.
Woman. So how did Rick? I have no idea. Like
What's in the PCA? It's all
God
explained.
damn it, TV.
the entire PCA has been like shredded.
Well,
I
that's
like to
well.
see.
What do you think
I
about?
don't know. So somebody should take their free time tomorrow and take a red marker and mark through all the stuff in the PCA that is complete and utter bullshit having come out in this trial, and you're not going to have much left.
What do you think about the box cutter? I think that's pretty damning. Like, how did he know the killer? He's the box cutter.
I mean,
If he wasn't the killer.
Definitely didn't use a box cutter. I think that, like, I mean, it's not good that people are posting the crime scene pics, but I think that, like, common sense tells you it's not a box cutter. The medical examiner never thought it was a box cutter.
What did he say that on this vid? I was watching it on Tom's
Oh yeah,
the other day.
After the prosecution had some meetings with him, yeah, all of a sudden he's saying, "Wow, you know what? I was looking in my garage and I thought, hey, you remember that case from that's coming up? Maybe it was a box cutter." Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Reggie,
Okay,
those
well,
are
what
nice
about the
glasses.
alibi? Well, yeah, woman, let me ask you this. What about the alibi? What's his alibi? Why, I mean, and the Google searches?
The Google searches. Can I see your Google search history, DB? I mean, Reggie.
Reggie. It's a bunch of trucks and election poll results. I've been really, it's been a great week, you know? You guys are real quiet now that,
It's been a real great week. I think that people are super happy.
Are those
yeah, I
Oakleys?
just can hear my kids fighting in the background probably, but I'm sorry if it's distracting.
Are those Oakleys, Reggie?
Oh yeah, of course they're Oakleys. Well, Reggie, there's no burden on the defense, so they don't have to provide an alibi. They don't
Well,
have to,
right,
they don't have
but
to provide anything.
well, with that, well, they're saying all this stuff, you know, and you know, they're saying Odinism and you know, it's a cult and all this, you
Well,
know, just goofy shit.
didn't
It's
say
like,
autism in the
you
trial.
can't come up with an alibi. Like that's what really is needed at the end of the day. Like, where's the alibi?
Where is the state actually placing him there?
Like, I'm trying to get down to the truth of what happened.
Right, but that's not what a trial is about. It's not about getting to the truth of what happened. It's
I
about
mean, okay, it's simple. The timeline. He said he was wearing the clothes. He had the gun. He had a gun.
well, he
There
didn't say
was
he had
eyewitnesses.
say he was wearing those clothes, and we can't have no way of knowing that whoever did this was wearing any particular clothes or whether they had a gun. Like those are things that are also unknown.
I know Cryptex. I used to watch some Cryptex channel. Cryptex, you agree, right?
Thank you. What's the question, Reggie?
But you still think he did it, right?
I think that I believe, and I may be wrong, I believe that Richard Allen is involved. I believe he is likely bridge guy, but I don't know if he's the killer or if he is the only one involved in this situation. But it's just my belief. I don't have any proof, of course, and I don't think
Yep.
that the state proved their theory during the case so far. But yeah, there are indications to me that he may be likely bridge guy.
So when you
And
I
there are
agree.
some things that bother
when
me.
you say that he's bridge guy, do you just mean that you think that he's the guy in the video, or do you think that other people
Yeah, look
actually
at
saw
him.
him?
Look at
I
him.
think he's the guy in the video.
Just the guy in the video, and the
Yeah.
other. Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that's hard to nail down. I don't think like there's very good. I mean, the video is not from what we've seen of the video. It's difficult to tell that it's anybody. I don't know if the video that was shown in court might
I
make
don't
that
know.
possible.
I'm not saying that the image looks like Richard Allen at all. No, that's not my point. Of course, we cannot take any conclusion about that image, especially if it was altered by those interpolation process. No, I agree.
I mean, the bridge guy. I mean, bridge guy. If you're just going off of what's in the video, like, well, it could almost be anybody. So, like, I mean, I think they need to prove that it's him, not just that it could be anybody. Like, it could be anybody is not a good argument.
Yeah,
Well, they
it's
seen
not.
him. The girls,
And
girls over
I
there
agree
seen
with
him.
you. The state didn't prove it, in my opinion,
No,
during
I
the process.
didn't provide it. I mean, I don't think they provided anything that proves anything. I mean, other than the like the murders happened. I think that's probably pretty well proven. Other
But
than that, I don't know what they've proven. I don't know that, like, I don't think that they've proven that a bullet has anything to do with anything. I don't think that they've proven that, like, Richard Allen's statements have anything to do with anything. I don't think they've proven where he was, what he was wearing, like, what he was doing, what time he was there, where he parked. I don't think they proved a single one of those things.
yeah, but things I agree with you that the burden is not in the defense side, but there are some things that bothers me, as Reggie was saying as well. And I know that you're gonna challenge every point, and that's fair. That's why we're here talking. But
Yeah,
it
so the question I've got for you, Cryptex, because I've been very open to the possibility that, like, what you're saying, that, and, like, maybe he was involved in some way, shape, or form. But, like, the problem with that is that, don't you think that he would have turned over on whoever else was involved? Like, he's been in hell for 2 years.
That's what Holman
You
said
don't think
too.
he'd give up a name and
no,
help himself out?
no, because if he does that, he's gonna admit his own culpability. So it's not a good move. He cannot rat on
Well,
anyone
that's what a
because
He'll
he's
turn
gonna prove
himself
himself
in.
plea
as
deal
a
is
guilty
for.
person. So of course he's not gonna do that.
Well, that's what a plea deal is for.
But
That's
then
the
he's
whole fucking
rolling
shit.
on himself, though. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, I did it.
Let's say
But he won't roll on anyone else.
my theory is that the clients are involved. And let's say, to answer to your question, why is Richard Allen not ratting on the clients? Because if he does that, he's gonna accept his own culpability here. So he's gonna.
That's a great point. Yeah.
You know, that's why.
Well,
To me, it's a simple question. A simple answer.
everything is negotiable. Like I guarantee that if he served up Tony Klein on a silver platter, that he's gonna get a much better deal. You know, like he's not gonna, like, if they can pin it on somebody else a lot more than they can pin it on him, that's what they'll do, and they'll give a light sentence to the person that's giving the information, and they'll put a heavy sentence on the person that gets ratted out.
Yeah, but today
That
he
happens
has
all the time.
Yeah, but today he has the option to be considered not guilty. So why he's gonna prefer the other option to pay, I don't know, 30 years by ratting on the clients, if today he has the
Right.
option to be considered not guilty at the end by the jury.
And we don't know where his 2017 phone is. Like, why didn't he give up? Like there's what, 25 devices and not this 2017 phone?
Yeah, but we don't know like how many total devices he had.
I think they said 35.
I
Got
don't
35
quite
cell
that- I
phones,
don't think it
but
was quite that many,
36 phones missing.
but is that all? But is that all of them? Like, how many are actually missing? Only
I know
that
he's
one.
missing.
That when people say that's completely unsubstantiated. There could be one phone missing, 5 phones missing, 10 phones missing, 20 phones missing, 30 phones missing. I have no idea how many phones.
Like 36 phones, but one is missing.
No, but it's not one is missing. Like, we don't know that.
Right, he destroyed it.
That's a possibility, but he could have destroyed 30 phones.
So you think he had 66 phones and just destroyed 31 of them?
Well, I mean, it's not just, they're not just all his. They took all the phones in the house. You know, this is the entire family's, all their phones at, like, I mean, apparently
Not even just phones. It can be the thumb drives, like anything you can plug in, pretty much.
Well, what was on the thumb drives? That's really what you gotta ask. Like, who has that many thumb
Jesus.
drives?
I mean, there was nothing. Like, you know, we've got the depositions from Liggett and Holman that say there's nothing that they found ties them to the crimes, the crime scene. Just nothing ties them to anything. And we're already done with the evidence in the trial. Like, there wasn't anything.
Yeah. No, even if the lack of cell phone is suspicious, let's say, is not
Right,
is
I
not
agree.
to say that he's guilty, but it bothers me. That and the lack of alibi, it bothers me. It's not that those are elements that we can say because of that Richard Allen is guilty. No, I understand that, but it makes you think about that, you know.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. Yeah, where's the alibi? And why didn't he let Van Doolen search his phone right then and there?
He did give him his phone.
I bet
Van
he didn't.
Doolen's a scumbag.
No, Rick Allen on the, like, within days of the murder, like, helps Dan Doolan get the information off his phone so that he has the IDs off of it.
Yeah, well, didn't he have a really weird phone type where he didn't have a IMDb or whatever? Where
I don't think that's. I think at the time that's not actually weird at all. I think that's very common.
well, what's up with Ting? I've seen there's a case in Australia where there was a ring of internet, you know, people trading pics. That
So
all used Ting
the
phones.
Ting stuff is interesting just because, like, one of the things that I went to court this week, and on Tuesday they're talking about, like, the AT&T, oh god, I don't remember what it's exactly called, precision history log report, that basically, you know, they're pinging your phone all the time and kind of making a record of your location. And so
Well, why
they
don't
use
they have
that.
that for him?
So they use that on Libby's phone, and, like, you know, they had the report in court, and, like, they've got it on a piece of paper or you can just look at it. Well, the jury asked that question. They're like, well, what about Richard Allen's one? Like, can you get that? Oh yeah, we can
Yeah,
get
that's a
that.
good question.
We can get that. Like, do you need the phone to get that? Nope, don't need the phone to get it. Like, you can just get it. Like, both the defense and the prosecution probably has this report for his phone showing the pings that, you know, his location throughout this entire time period. Both sides did not bring it in as evidence, which it is strange, but it's not like, I mean, when the burden of proof is on the state, well, state, why wouldn't you bring it in if it shows where he's at? Wouldn't that help your case? Miku, the state limited out geofencing, so the precision history report is different because it's not geofencing. It's not. I don't even think it's GPS. It's a ping related report. I believe it just is generated by, like, basically they just your cell phone provider is basically just pinging you all the time. So, like, you're tracked roughly much more than you realize you are. Like, every single person with a phone is.
Hey, Fiend,
Hey, woman.
what's up with the marathon girl? She died, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, no one knows?
No, I don't even know much about that.
Monday here says marathon girl is found under a bridge by blank Delphi cops.
I knew that he died, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I was
Yes,
trying to find out myself.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. Judge Jessica says, I still don't understand how they were unable to test nearly all of the DNA. And I have the same sentiment. I don't understand how they were unable to test nearly all the DNA.
What's the DNA got to do with it if it's not Richard Allen? Like, he's the one
Exactly.
on trial.
Well, right. That's the whole thing. It's
That's
not
the whole
if
fucking
it's not
thing.
if it's not his DNA, then it's somebody else. I mean, the sales
So, like, an
says,
accomplice?
Jessica, we're not checking this DNA because males lived in the house. Well, a lot of the unknown male DNA is from a blood source. It's not like touch DNA. It's from blood. So, like, it's not from fucking laundry. That part isn't. It's not like skin cells. It's blood.
You know, it's bad. It's really bad to minimize the mistakes of the state that law enforcement made during this investigation. That's really bad. The DNA stating that the sticks were items of not evidentiary value. Stupid things like that makes me mad. Really, those investigators were jokes. It's really bad what they did. Looking on Google about the earphone situation just the same day of the testimony. This is really bad. This was a very poor investigation job here by the state,
Well,
and
I
that's
mean,
why I think it's really possible that a hung jury is gonna be the final result of this process.
I mean, I think that the jury definitely has to be thinking, like, is this investigation just bad, or is it purposely bad? Like, are these mistakes, or are they intentional things? Like, it's some of the stuff is really weird. Like, deleting all the interviews is really weird. Like, pretending that you don't realize that, like, that's headphones being plugged in. Like, dude,
What's that got to do with with Richard Allen? Though? Like the
That's
interviews
oh,
were
that's
of
the
Richard Allen.
they don't have to do with Richard Allen. Don't have to do with Richard Allen. Like that, all the evidence doesn't point to Richard Allen.
And either if it points to Richard Allen or not, it's part of the investigation. It's investigation for dummies. They have to investigate every single element of the case. The earphone, the sticks, the DNA.
And if they don't like it, they just delete it.
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's pretty simple laid out in the PCA. Everything that's PCA is everything.
Did it kill you to say that, DB?
The PCA. What's wrong with the PCA?
What's good about the PCA?
Well, it lays out everything. It lays out the gun. It lays out the ballistics. It lays out the timeline. There's 3 people that seen him there.
All right, but all those people got up on the stand and they didn't say that it was anybody that looked anything like Richard Allen.
Right, but we gotta. I mean, I wasn't there. Were you there? I don't know what they
No.
said. I'm gonna take like why would law enforcement lie about that? I'm just waiting to see the transcripts of the trial. I think when the transcripts come out, I think you'll see.
I think there was plenty of people that were in trial that have given an accounting of what witnesses said.
Yeah, if you want to listen to defense diaries, or the pro defense people
Burkhardt.
like Andrea Burkhardt and Lawyer Lee.
Yeah.
But if you listen to some people that get the opposite about it, it seems like he sounds just like a lot of people said he sounds just like him. And he confessed on the phone.
Big JD, what's your theory?
Yeah, good point. What's your theory? I think that the confessions are gonna play against the state, ironically.
He said he did it.
No, I mean, this was something that kind of dawned on me as we're getting close to trial. There aren't cases. There aren't cases that have 60 confessions. And it challenge anybody to go find one.
Oh, yeah, really good.
So there's no way to come to any sort of logical conclusion that 60 confessions means that somebody did it or somebody didn't do it.
No, that's what I say. That those confessions are gonna play against the state.
Right.
Ironically.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think that. I mean, if there was any way that they could get away with it, I think they would have just cherry picked, 3. But there's no way they could do that. They're like the defense wasn't gonna just let them pick your best 3 and then we'll just. That's better than the 60. No, because it's not. It's better to have for the defense to have 60 because you see how crazy it all is. You see how crazy he was.
And we learned that some jurors were shocked when they were watching the videos of Richard Allen in Westfield. So that's gonna be in their minds, and that's gonna play a role at the moment of taking a decision, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they had Lawyer Lee had Jumpsuit Pablo on, and he said that inmates do that in
who Reggie who Pablo
Jumpsuit
Pablo.
Hey,
Pablo was on Lawyer Lee.
Who the fuck is Pablo?
Jumpsuit Pablo.
But who is he?
He's a YouTuber. He's an expert in solitary confinement and prison conditions. He was on Lawyer Lee, and he was saying that inmates consume their own excrement and bass around all the time. It's just to get out of solitary confinement. Yeah, what Bree said.
I mean, the thing
I mean,
about is that Richard Allen's never been in prison before. It's not like he
that you
knows.
know of.
He no.
It seems like he's been in prison in his own mind
Right,
full
but he's not
time.
he's not been in
He's
real
been
prison.
tortured
Like
soul.
he
He's
knows
perverted.
the lay of the land and what the tactics are. Like, and he's also not really communicating with anybody to for someone to tell him, "Hey, here's what you should do." Like that's not reality. Like there wasn't
I mean, you
anybody.
think that, but I think he's been very cunning. He's been plotting. This has all been by design, to just put some of the facts out there just enough to seem crazy and manipulate. That's what he does. He manipulates.
Have you ever listened to Sleuth Intuition?
I don't know. I don't. Only listen to a couple. He only listen to a couple Belfly channels. I listen to this one guy that thinks he's basically a human teleprompter. He just kind of reads comments and goes, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Richard Allen is in love with Dr. Monica Law." And, I really understand where he's coming from sometimes.
Teresa says, I really like Jumpsuit Pablo. Very, very disappointing what I hear he said. I don't know Pablo from Thomas.
I don't know Pablo from Peanuts, but he seemed like a credible source. Be more credible than freaking, whatever, Harvard,
Anybody
Coastal
whose
Elite.
first name is Jumpsuit probably is not a credible source.
No, that's his call sign on the radio.
Oh my god. I wish I could share a screen. I would show you Pablo.
Oh, I think I've seen his thumbnail or whatever, but Christian name Jumpsuit, right? Good Christian name.
I think, or guys, what's gonna happen if the decision is a hung jury? What's the next step?
I think it's more of a lack of a decision, really.
Well, I mean, so initially, if they come back and there's we can't come to a decision, Judge Gull will probably send them back. And if they still can't come to a decision, she might be influential of being like, look, you really need to come to a decision. Or she might just be like, well, just go on. It's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. Go back to work. If they come back again, which they probably will, she'll read them an Allen charge, which is basically kind of more of a streamlined, deadline of look, you have to come to a decision. If you can't, I guess.
Really, Allen charge she's reading is 4 life sentences.
Right. But yeah, so if I believe that if they come back after the Allen charge and they're still hung, that just he's gonna remain in custody, and the state will have to decide to recharge him, which I don't know. Maybe they would think better of the charges that they're charging him with. I have no idea, but they would have to decide what they're going to do and either move forward or not. And they're going to have to consider the expense of that, and they're going to have to consider how they fared during this trial, which was pretty bad. I think it's very.
Well, I think they should charge him with obstruction of justice too, because he's destroying some discovery
by eating it.
Yeah.
I think those are just copies, man. I don't think that's like the original discovery. You know who destroyed Discovery? Steve Mullen.
Jesus Christ. He destroyed his
among
property outright.
among others, but like surely him if among. I mean, the amount of discovery that actually was destroyed in this case is really frustrating.
I wonder if his phone was down there.
Yeah, right, dude. I mean, it's really weird that they wanted to motion and eliminate out the geofencing. You know, they got a great FBI like star witness that has been in all sorts of high profile cases, and they're like, no, we don't want our guy to talk, and we don't want the defense to talk about it. We don't want to talk about the geofencing at all. That's weird.
Well, and all the money that they could have saved by doing the IGG with CC Moore, and they chose not to. They chose to pay for it, and not even run it too on top of it. But
yeah, I mean, there's some pretty basic things that, like, you know, I mean, I don't know the validity of all of it as far as, like, you know, supposedly the FBI could do a height analysis for 10 grand, and they're just like, nah.
Too expensive.
Right.
But
$4 million trial, no big deal, but like $10,000 to figure out once and for all how tall a bridge guy is. Nope, don't want to do that. That's weird. That's weird. Those are weird things. That's a
$70,000
weird way to
podium.
conduct yourself, like when you're trying to solve the murder of two little girls.
The $7,000 or $70,000
Well, they solved it.
podium with no sound.
Right, the podium that they never fucking used.
Yeah.
They solved
$70,000
it.
for that, but $5,000 per murder to just figure out the bridge guy's height. That's where you draw the line.
See, this is a digital in the chat. Like, this is what people from outside of Indiana don't understand. They're so ignorant. Like, you gotta live here. It's not the DMV, it's the BMV. And, you know, it's just misinformation like this. You just tell people are not. Those they don't understand how this state works.
It is correct. It is the BMV. The
We
Bureau.
watch, we do things different here. You know, you gotta be here, you gotta live here to understand.
Are you a cop?
I mean, I didn't go to the trial, but I'm a local, like
No,
local-ish.
if you're a cop, you got to tell us. That's the rules.
No, do I look like a cop?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Sound like a cop.
I'm going to sleep. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Cryptex.
No, thank you.
Appreciate
Stay in touch.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
You guys know where I can get any coke around here?
Oh shit.
I think he's talking to you, Krebin.
You might want to ask Nick.
I want to debate you, Krebin. You've been saying all this stuff about Richard Allen's innocent, and let's go. Go down. Let's see what you got. Well, then do it in silence.
Woman.
Woman,
I can't.
you're an
Even.
apologist.
I can't even.
Woman doing a Krebin can't even.
I cannot even.
I'm not a trail cam guy.
You're the trail cam guy.
Man, one of the things, like, we haven't gotten a whole lot of information out of this trial, but we did get some nuggets. The trail cam, like, and there's somebody on the trail cam, like, across the 2 days, the 13th and the 14th. Like,
You guys just wait.
just wait.
Yeah, I mean, I already know this is not going to a verdict.
It's not going to a verdict.
No, tomorrow, we all know what's gonna happen.
What's going to happen?
He's gonna sign a plea deal tomorrow.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah, and if you listen, if you've been listening to Sleuth Intuition, you got to tell us. Those are the rules. You got to tell us if you're a cop, and you got to tell us if you listen to Sleuth.
Okay, I have listened to him. Yeah,
Okay.
the plea deal is gonna be signed tomorrow.
Yeah, what's in it?
Yeah. What's he
What's
gonna
the deal?
gonna plead to?
He's gonna take 4 life sentences, for an extra hot dog tray, every 12 months, according to Jumpsuit Pablo.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good deal.
He's
I
gonna get
couldn't-
6 honey buns
Why did he wait so long to sign this deal?
because he thought Keegan Klein was he's working, he's doing undercover
Oh,
on the door flood. On the door flood, dude.
Royal Wee says he's gonna give up the motorcycle cover owner. That's the key to the whole thing. The motorcycle cover covered in the cat hair. He's gonna finally reveal all the secrets, and it all comes crumbling down. Hey, Sleuth
That's the whole
Intuition's here.
fucking shit. That's the whole fucking shit, dude.
is it?
What's up, Sleuth?
And I was watching Sleuth earlier, and he was the poll showed that the majority of people thought he was guilty. They were gonna vote guilty.
Yes, the majority of watchers of certain YouTube channels, I'm sure, will vote guilty. The majority of other YouTube channels will all vote not guilty. I have no idea how this correlates to a particular jury. Well, I don't know what Bree's talking about. Where's DB at?
That guy's a fucking troll.
DB is a troll. Luckily, we got Reggie here.
What is that?
What are you talking about?
See, here we go. Kelt says maybe the cat was buried wrapped in a motorcycle cover. His brother-in-law had a motorcycle. ... plea deal. Exactly. Flawless logic.
Oh Jesus, that's a big nightmare.
With the plea deal. The plea deal's coming. The plea deal's coming. Y'all just wait.
Digital says they didn't test the cat hair because they thought it fell out of a tree.
Well, look into it.
I mean,
look into it.
Well, cats typically are pretty good climbers and don't fall out of the trees. They get stuck in trees. So
Is that right?
It is right. Yeah, that's why they have to call the fire department to get the cat out of the tree.
That's a farce, by the way. That doesn't happen. We try
It
calling
does happen.
We try calling the fire department for a cat, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we're not coming."
I called the fire department one time. My mouth got burned.
Yeah, and you went to
Well,
a
you don't
meeting?
need a fire department. You just need somebody that can climb a tree. Which in Indiana, like a lot of the men, or a lot of the women, pretty much everybody can climb trees. We climb trees out here. This is
You really? I mean, yeah, I know.
Tree. There's a cat in a tree. I'll go get that damn cat. It's fine.
Cat climb tree.
I got a cat out of a tree once.
Good for you. I'm happy to hear that. That's commendable. Thanks.
I heard Richard Allen put cats in trees.
Saving cats in trees or wherever they may be is the Lord's work.
I heard Richard Allen went around the neighborhood and put cats in the trees. He would pick up cats and go on a ladder and put them high in a tree.
With the cats in the trees.
So where did he escalate?
Well,
It started with putting cats in trees.
no, it doesn't
And then
just
it got
start
worse.
like that. You start small. You put cats on the countertop.
Yeah.
You put a cat on the countertop, right?
Right.
They can get out of there, right? And then put them on top of the fridge. Put them on top of the refrigerator and just kind of watch them look down at the ground.
I feel like DB's been talking to us in a modulator this whole time. Like, this is his real voice.
And this is my real look.
All right, I think I'm following. So Richard Allen started off putting the cats on countertops, then moved on to, and he escalated to putting cats in refrigerators. Then he
No,
started.
you didn't use an escalator.
Then he started putting cats in
just picked
trees,
up the
and
behavior.
then he did a double homicide.
Yeah, well, think about what he did in 2015.
What was that?
He farted at the CVS. What do you think it's? I mean, I've seen the video of it.
Right. Yeah.
This has been
No,
weird.
it all makes sense now. It's weird that they didn't bring all that evidence into the trial. I wonder why they didn't do that.
Well, just think about it. Did they not bring it in? Are the defense shield not telling us what really happened? If they want to sell us, they want to sell, people that are, think that he's, so innocent, but they don't really know that, they had real evidence against them.
What am I doing here?
What are any of us doing here?
Oh my god.
Reggie, are you incontinent? Consonants? Oh, intentional incompetence. I'm sorry, I'm behind. Picking up a 1.5. Reggie, are you breaking the gag order? You just want to call it down.
Reggie, your voice doesn't match your picture, Reggie.
What did you think I know. I love that. Well, they thought, sometimes the curtains don't match the drapes.
Oh shit.
I know I need to sound like I've smelled more. Cigarette. Too soon. My kids in the background. I have bad kids. How's come on, don't watch you look at bad kids. My name is Reggie, and Richard Allen did it.
Thanks, Reggie.
And I don't care what everybody else thinks.
That was great.
So tell me about the alibi. Why didn't they talk about the alibi?
I mean, I'm going to speculate that because both sides did not want to bring in Richard Allen's Ting precision history reports, he's around the area, and that doesn't look great for him. And for
But
this
also he said
on,
he was
on and
there.
on the state side that he's not close enough to the area at the right times to make it look good for them. So both sides just want to like stay away from it.
Well, I was actually thinking, 1 second. Well, I was thinking about things that, really were really important things. What about fog reveal? How did they get to him? You think the tip is real?
Fog reveal, Lord. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if as much as what the state brought in as far as what their story is and how they figured out that it was Richard Allen, like, I mean, for the most part, I'm taking them kind of at their word for this. I don't like all that fog reveal stuff was bullshit. There's no like, they didn't get any information from doing anything that like really tipped them off to Richard Allen. Otherwise, they would just say that because it sounds better than, well, I found a file that said that the guy was cleared, and then like we decided that he wasn't cleared, and he's actually the guy. That doesn't make any sense either, but that's about as good as it. I mean, that's about as good as they can come up with. Like anything else would sound way better.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Jesus.
No, I totally agree about that. And but I think that they had to hide it from everybody because it's part of a more, actually secret investigation.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that.
Reggie, have you ever gotten drunk and drowned yourself in beer?
Wait,
I've never drank. I would never drink.
And I think Richard Allen's guilty.
That was a good question, Digital.
That was a good question.
Yeah, it's a little bit curious that, I mean, if that's the worst stuff that they come up with somebody's Google searches, like, I've got some questions. Like, seems a little bit odd. I feel like the vast majority of American citizens, you could probably find a lot worse in their Google searches.
Well, do you think Richard Allen's guilty? I think, as a veteran, I think Richard Allen probably killed him. Why would he do that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he's a sick fuck. And as a veteran, I know he's a sick fuck.
I mean, it's probably the strongest point I've heard so far. Thus far, he is Army, so maybe he is kind of sick. Okay. I can't read all of these comments. I can put them on the I can put them on the screen, but I can't read them.
that is a good one. When he's acquitted, the police will say they arrested Rick at the ploy to lure out the real criminal.
I mean, I'd buy that more than what they're trying to sell us thus far. Like that sounds good to me at this point. How about this? What if Richard Allen is undercover? And they're
You can't prove that he's not.
right.
Well, if you can't prove that he's not, then he is.
Could be.
Let's say he did that.
He might be involved in with the feds to lure out the real killers. Are we like reconnecting families here on this channel? We might be.
Richard Allen is undercover boss.
Mindshock has entered the stream. Mindshock followed me on Twitter. It was a big day for me.
Didn't they find a CVS receipt in the jet ski?
What jet ski?
I don't know.
There's a jet ski now?
Yeah.
Monday says, maybe is MLK Ultra? What is MLK Ultra? That's the upgrade from MK Ultra. This is another thing that, like, I've heard some people say, I don't know that this is substantiated at all, that she wants the reward money. MLK Ultra CRT. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Where's the jet ski at?
How's everyone doing?
It's a little further up. It's like the Royal Lee's third cabin from now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is called Giga Chad. I'm a Giga Chad. Bridgie's a Giga Chad. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, I'm gonna read some of my notes. And Queen, I'm gonna send you something and Twitter. Can you show it?
I don't know how to do that.
Well, figure it the fuck out, dude. Bridgie's taking over this motherfucker. Got it?
Okay. Maybe.
This is so a tie-up.
There was no testable DNA recovered from the crime scene. Richard Allen admitted he was on the trail, on the bridge, and the crime scene the day of the murder. Richard Allen admitted to seeing no other man on the bridge at this time. You know, slippery, eh? You know, slippery, eh? Richard Allen told police he was wearing a blue jacket while on the trail. Upon searching his home, the police indeed found a blue Carhartt jacket that matched Bridge Guy's blue jacket. Well, I cannot say for certain. I don't believe Richard Allen had a similar jacket. Otherwise, we would have heard this from the defense. Richard Allen claims he was on the trail while browsing the stock ticker during trading hours.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you fucking idiot, dude. On trading day, on his cell phone. But there was no trace of the cell phone pinging by any nearby towers. We know the trail received at least some internet connectivity due to Libby's phone pinging.
Yeah, I don't know how to show anything.
Is this like hypnosis or something?
Yeah, it's something.
You guys see this?
What?
You had my screen? And StreamYard?
No, I can't see anything. I also don't know how to do anything. I'm just on my phone, so it's I can only see the avatars.
Damn it. Is that off screen?
Just use your camera and show the piece of paper that you're trying to show. Or the screen.
Oh, right.
Right. At least I changed the banner so everybody knows that you are being psyoped. You are being Havana syndromed hard right now.
I think Richard Allen did it. I think he plotted it. I think he knew the girls were going to be there that day. And he snuck up on them. And the white van scared him. And he ran. And when he ran, they also ran where he wanted them to go. I think they both jumped over the creek.
Like a
Clean over the
sheepdog?
creek. Huh?
Like a sheepdog?
Yeah, 3 of them. Because Brad Weber scared him. And then after he did his sick thing, right by the bridge, then he cycled the gun and it fell above the bridge. And that was something that only the killer would know. And as the van drove by, it ran over the round. And it pushed it into the dirt, and that's why they didn't find it.
Oh. Maybe.
Right?
Or
and then when he ran across...
Maybe his boots were muddy and the bullet got stuck in the mud on his boots.
Right. And then he took it home. He knew secretly that he had it on him all the time. So then he went down and he was scared. So he had and then once he was done, he had to escape, but it took him an hour and a half to get from the scene of the crime to 300. Because there a car lost in it at like, 4 o'clock?
Seems legit. I'm
right.
sold.
So he was scared. Then he staged the scene, and then he wasn't at the scene. He hid it in the tree line for an hour and a half until Sarah Carwall was coming by. And then he was thinking, ooh, here she comes. I've heard about this bitch.
Damn it.
I know this bitch. I'm going to get a quick little insurance claim out of this. And he went too close to the road. And as the car came zooming in, he's like, oh, fuck, I just committed the double murder, and stepped out of the way and went.
Yeah.
Because then he forgot he was going to do an insurance fraud, but...
He had to remember
she's
the
got
double murder he just did. Right.
Yeah. So then, the reason why they didn't see him on the Hoosier Harvester is because he jumped out of the way of Sarah Carwall being so close to him, right? And he wasn't on the camera. I didn't activate the camera because he decided to, instead of walking down 300, it would be less suspicious if he doubled around the back side of the Hoosier Harvester and walked in an open field as a single person out in the open.
Yeah.
But then, after that, he wanted the old CPS building where he parked. He backed in. With his vehicle, and he heard the vehicle. The vehicle was also like the vehicle that was seen on the Hoosier Harvester camera, which was on video of his vehicle. But they didn't play the video in court. It just showed screenshots because, it's kind of hard to see what was going on in the video more than a picture. So Steve Mullen created the picture for the jury. They didn't get a picture of him.
He created the picture, like with Pixar or something? Okay.
Yes, and he had special daylight rims. And all of these rims could be on the one vehicle, the one 2016 Ford Focus special version. And then he's the only one in the whole county.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, you see it. Look at this. You see the map? You guys see the map? Look
Yeah.
at this.
No, I don't.
You see this? Huh?
I did it. I put an image on the screen.
Yeah. You see this right here, guys? Can you take the comment down? You see where it says Delphi City Park. See, Richard Allen, he pulled off over there one day and put secret hubcaps on his vehicle called daylight hubcaps. Daylight hubcaps.
Okay.
No, not daylight rims. See, that's what the pro prosecution people. I'm sorry, that's what the pro defense people want you to think. Because that's silly.
Daylight hubcaps.
They're hubcaps.
Okay.
And so
Then
he doubled back to his house, right? Because he was on his way back from his mom's. And you see where the path heads east? You see that? It goes east.
Yeah.
The killer would know that he went this specific way, so his vehicle with the specific rims could drive by the Hoosier Harvester camera, and he would later then avoid and walking behind it.
Well, let me ask you this: were there cameras on the back side of the Hoosier Harvester?
No, because before he parked his CPS, he actually snuck around to the back of the Hoosier Harvester, and he spray painted the cameras with black spray paint.
God, you're right. Black spray paint.
there's a new eye drop.
Yeah, see, you see this? You see how it goes east here in the straight line? Into the country. And then it goes up, and then 300, and then all these little way. They call this the scenic route. The scenic route.
Yeah, I like to go that route. I usually try to go that route.
Well, he admitted that to former police chief and super investigator.
That he had knowledge of doing that, that it was possible, but not that he ever did that.
Well, he said it. It was in the PCA.
No, that's not in the PCA.
Uh,
There's no routes in the PCA.
Well, how would you judge by the Hoosier Harvester? They said he was on the Hoosier Harvester camera, didn't they?
No, they didn't say that. Well, not him. Maybe, maybe his
okay,
car.
then tell me this. Is he didn't be honest? I want to really hear you answer this. Is Sarah Carbo a liar? I mean, come on. Why would she lie?
Sarah Carbo is kind of weird. She has a weird story. She says that she's driving by to see if there's people there. Why? Like that's not something that somebody just does out of the blue. I just drove by the Mears lot to see if there's people there.
This is a good point. Why would you drive on one of the two roads? There's two paths here, you see? There's the path, the secret path, where he goes to the east, to the north, and then west. It's loopy, right? It's trippy. Because he didn't want to go back by the place where he changed to this hubcap. Is she driving, turning around, and then driving back? Is there a circle around the block? That's different. Well, let's think about this, right? Let's really think about it. Richard Allen's the killer. He's guilty. How would he know there was only two paths? Only the killer could know that.
I think there's been some speculation. I think it might be Lana that said it. She's pretty convinced that Sarah Carbaugh saw Derek walking around because the timeline kind of suggests that.
Is that right?
Right. I mean, I don't think there's like a whole lot to it.
Yeah, but that's family blaming.
I think
you're blaming the family.
Psycho killer walking down 300 right in front of the Mears lot right in front
I
of
don't
the
think he was
people.
psychotic.
Right in front of the people. She sees people at the Mears lot. Who are those people?
Why are you donating the family?
No, I'm not saying. I didn't say anything about a family. I'm just saying, who are those people? Like, if you're suggesting they're the family, that's on you. I don't know that there's anything substantiating that those are the family there.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Uh-oh. Probably got to change my layout. Oh, no. Everybody left. Everybody's Irish goodbye. I don't think I did anything. Well, that was interesting. We did a psyop. We could maybe get some different guests on. I offended them. I don't think I offended anybody. No, not now. You have no music. Well, what do we all think of that? What do we think that's it's a good theory? Bad theory? I think Sarah Carba, the defense. I think that Rosie even said it in his closing statements to completely ignore Sarah Carba because it was insane, which I would tend to lean towards. Like, I think you discount it completely. It's very it's very hard to glean any important information from whatever Sarah was saying. No idea what she was saying. Like, I don't think that it's relevant to anything in the slightest. I can tell you absolutely, like, if you haven't been to the area, go to the area. You'll clearly see that walking down 300 right past out of the cemetery, in front of the Mears farm, in front of the Mears lot, in front of all the houses that are right there on that road, in plain view of cars passing by, all the way to the CPS lot would be completely insane. Nobody would did that. I don't think anybody did that. It's not relevant to who the killer is because nobody did that. Or at least it's very unlikely. I think the only possible way that somebody did that is that you've got multiple killers purposely parking in different locations, and somebody drew the short straw and was like, the stupid guy drew this short straw and was convinced to park in the most terrible parking spot ever to be involved in a crime at the bridge. I don't think anybody did that. I don't know how DB and woman timed that so well. Yeah, Seymour. Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, in a scenario where you got Elvis Fields involved and you convince him to be the dumbass that parks at the CPS building for this, is that a remote possibility? Maybe. And they're just like, fuck that guy. He can walk back. Like, and he's not smart enough to realize, like, how bad of a situation that is, that's a possibility. Cat, we're offending everybody. We did a psyop. I'm trying to get some better guests. There was a Reggie guy that was on here that was let's call CJ. I don't know that we can make calls from StreamYard. We don't hate Bob. We love Bob. Bob's an advocate, and and an aspiring journalist. I know. I know we need that. We need that music back. So, do you think the girls are dead before the bridge shit? I think that's a bit of an out there theory that is kind of complicated. I think in trial, both sides don't really concede. Like, they don't question the timestamp of the 213. Like the 207 photo and the 213 video. You know, at least from what they're saying in court, they're saying that they agree with those. So, I mean, I know that a lot of people think that there's some really, really crazy stuff going on with the photo and the video, but you know, if the defense is hiding it or the state's hiding it, the defense is hiding it. I think that those are mostly, I mean, the important thing about that type of data, that type of evidence, is that it only substantiates itself. You know, like you can put something on the internet at that time that doesn't substantiate who did it, and it doesn't substantiate like someone is necessarily, like, it's not proof of life. They've used it as proof of life. You know, I don't think it quite meets that bar. You know, I don't think that we for sure know that they were definitely on the bridge at that time. I think that would be the logical conclusion. And if neither side is really like stating otherwise, I think we should probably kind of go along with that. I think I lean towards more of a simple explanation that something did happen about the time that they're alleging something happened, but what that something is, I don't even think the state is even saying what they think it is. Oh man, I did something weird to my StreamYard. It all zoomed in. Cat says, and they deleted a bunch by Bonner playing with apps before Faraday back in Logic Basic Extraction. Faraday bag. Yeah, the Faraday bag thing I think it's a couple jumps. I think it's an interesting thing to keep in mind, especially when we get like some information that like were there law enforcement people that whose phones were in the area, and was there law enforcement DNA at the scene when it really shouldn't have been. Like, I think that you leave it open that it could be something like a Faraday bag. I'd lean towards a more of a simple explanation of, there's only little bits that have been brought into this trial, but they seem significant. And I think that it's not the most interesting theory. It's not the crazy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. But like, what's up with this Brad Weber guy? Like, why is he lying about the vehicle that he's driving? Was he driving a van or was he not driving a van? Like, it's his drive. You know, did is it possible that he would have gotten home about that time and abducted them into a van, which he owns? He has the phone. It's in the van. It starts blaring out a Amber Alert, making too much noise. He plugs it in, turns the volume down on the car. It's not registering any steps while it's in the van. Pulls it into, sometimes he's pulls it into a metal outbuilding or a garage. The signal is dampened, and you're getting almost no signal now to the phone, or maybe sometimes it's turned off. Sometimes it's turned into airplane mode. Who knows what they're doing to this phone? We don't have that record. We don't have the on-off record. It's extremely vital. Phones unplug. You don't want to put you don't want to, like, if you got an intent to kill them or whatever, like, you don't want it to happen on your property, so you drive around to the other side. Cemetery is an easy access in and out point to, some woodsy area that's, they weren't searching it all through the night. Easy to get over there and just finish off whatever was going on. So, is that the simplest explanation, or is it not the simplest explanation? I'm not sure. I don't think Richard Allen is the simplest explanation. Like, there would be something that would point to it. Yeah, Teresa, I think that they were. I mean, the end of the bridge and the private drive and the Weber backyard, those are all the same place. Like, those are all like within 10, 15 yards of each other. Like, they're it's hard to differentiate, like, that those are different locations. Those are all the same location. But yeah, I think there's something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a jet ski on the Deer Creek through Delphi. I've seen video footage of people taking a canoe through there. What's up, Tech Death? Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm probably gonna end this. We do got Saturday morning deliberations. I'm not sure if they're going 10 to 4. Or if it's 10 to noon. I don't know. They used to were only going to go to noon on Saturdays, but seems like they're probably going to do more than that. I mean, they may as well. Like, they're not doing anything else. They're not renting jet skis and going down Deer Creek as their activity. Now, if Gull was cool, she probably would get them all jet skis and they could do that. Like, that sounds awesome. But I feel like Judge Gull's activities are like, you're going to play Yahtzee. Zip lining would be cool. I don't know if they've got some zip lines around there or not. They could set up some zip lines. Defense effed up by bringing up the hair early and giving LE time to test it. I think that the defense. So a lot of strategy in trials will revolve around you want to start with something kind of flashy and you want to end on something flashy. And I think the hair is almost the flashy thing that they started on, where they show you right off the bat, these guys suck. There's this hair. And they didn't even fucking test it. Like, what does that tell you? Can I tell you something? Tell you something about how they run their investigation? It ain't this guy's hair. Whose motherfucking hair is that? I think I think that was probably a little bit impactful, a good way to start off their case. You know, and it's like it's almost a preemptive strike because that started coming out before the state put on its case. Like usually you're not getting any swings in as the defense at the beginning of the case. You know, the state takes their turn, then you get your turn. But man, they got a fucking haymaker in there with this fucking hair. Yeah, it's concerning that all of the cell phone distractions weren't as thorough as you would think they would be. Well, I can't highlight comments anymore. So I think my StreamYard is crashing. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and end it. Have a good night, y'all. We got deliberations tomorrow. Pray for the jury. Hopefully they'll figure it out, or they won't, and then we'll just go all next week until they finally make a decision or don't. As it is. Have a good night, y'all.